Jimmy Kimmel was hosting the Oscars last weekend, and one of his viewers had something to say about that.
During the Academy Awards, you posted, has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? Less than an average person trying too hard. And he then read that on the air and then took a crack at you. You getting even with him.
And what else did I say? I said some other pretty good things.
What were you getting even with him for all his anti-Trump jokes?
George Slobodanopoulos, right? No, look, Jimmy Kimmel is every night, he hits me, I guess. His ratings are terrible. He's not a talented guy. I hear he hits me all the time, so I figured I'd hit him because I thought he was a lousy host.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and in a comically chaotic exchange on Fox News Media Buzz, twice impeached ex-president Donald Trump and Howard Kurtz delved into the ongoing feud with late-night host Jimmy Kimmel.
I put it out on Truth, which is on fire, by the way. Truth Social is doing great. I never expected he was going to be reading it. Just prior to the movie of the year, which is the big one, right? That's the big one. I think they get the man, the woman, now the movie of the year. He reads my Truth on air. He reads exactly what you read. And now the big story is that they all begged him not to do it.
With all the subtlety of a clown car crashing into a circus tent, Kurtz prodded Trump about his beef with Kimmel, igniting a comedic powder keg.
And he wants to go out there and he wants to, I guess, confront me in a so. And he ends up reading my Truth. I said, this guy's even dumber than I thought. The thing went viral. It's been all over the world now. And all he had to do is keep his mouth shut.
Trump's retorts were as sharp as a deflated balloon, slamming Kimmel's Oscars hosting gig with all the grace of a toddler wielding a water gun. And just when you thought the clown car couldn't get any more ridiculous, Trump threw in a jab about Kurtz's bedtime, reminding everyone that in this circus, the only thing more absurd than the performers are the ringmasters themselves.
You talk about illegal migrants, and it's a huge crisis at the border, and after 3 years, obviously the Democrats bear the primary responsibility. Why do you use words like vermin and poisoning of the blood? The press, as you know, immediately reacts to that by saying, well, that's the kind of language that Hitler and Mussolini used.
Well, that's what they say. I didn't know that, but that's what they say. Because our country is being poisoned. Look, we have, and we can be nice about it. We can talk about, oh, I want to be politically correct, but we have people coming in from prisons and jails, long-term murderers, people with sentences that the rest of their lives they're going to spend in some jail in some country that many people have never even heard of. They're all being released into our country. These are murderers. These are people at the highest level of crime. And then you have mental institutions and insane asylums. I always say the difference is one is Silence of the Lamb. You know, it's a mental institution on steroids, okay?
Softball questions gave Trump an illusion of coherence. But let's face it, this MAGA man-child's rhetoric often feels like it belongs in a comic book instead of on television. Perhaps the only interview that truly matters for Trump is the one conducted by the prison staff, where a cavity search might finally shed light on what's really wrong with Donald Trump. In his disturbing echo of history's tyrants, Trump's tirade on migrants repeats the rhetoric of madmen like Hitler and Benito Mussolini. His arrogant response to Kurtz's feeble attempts at journalism mirrors the unchecked power of Trump's delusional rant. Comparing migrants to criminals and the mentally ill reveals a mind detached from reality and a reminder of the darkest chapters of history.
Those mental institutions and insane asylums are being emptied out into the United States. And then you have terrorists pouring in at levels that we have never seen before. This is a horrible thing. Only bad is going to come of it. A friend of yours, Sean Hannity, said it's 100% certain that there'll be big problems here very soon. He means an attack.
Kurtz's timid approach only underscores the danger of confronting such madness with appeasement. Kurtz was armed with a pillow instead of a sword. Trump's evasive stance on Putin's guilt in Navalny's demise mirrors his spineless approach to confronting Russia's threat to America. Remember when Putin had bounties on American troops and Trump was too chicken to call him out? Yeah.
You said that the sudden death of Alexei Navalny in a Siberian prison camp was horrible and that he was very brave, and there's no question about that. And you said that you're going through a form of Navalny. But here's the thing. The media, as you know, blame Putin. Joe Biden blames Putin. Much of the civilized world blames Putin. Do you believe Vladimir Putin has some responsibility for the death of Alexei Navalny?
I don't know, but perhaps. I mean, possibly. I could say probably. I don't know. He's a young man, so statistically he'd be alive for a long time, right? If you go by the insurance numbers, he'd be alive for another 40 years. So something happened that was unusual.
Well, obviously, he survived a poisoning attempt by the Kremlin and barely lived, went back, got jailed, and then suddenly he keels over. They don't release the body. I mean, how could anything like that happen without Putin and high-ranking Kremlin officials sanctioning it?
Well, I don't know. You certainly can't say for sure, but certainly that would look like something very bad happened, right?
By dodging accountability, Trump reveals his complicity in Putin's sinister agenda to undermine democracy, much like Hitler envisioning a bunker escape while the nation faces annihilation. Trump prioritizes self-preservation over protecting democracy. As Russia's nuclear shadow looms, Trump's bunker mentality echoes the darkest chapters in history, where tyrants seek refuge while their people suffer. As a cowardly dictator, Trump would retreat to safety while leaving the nation in peril, indifferent to the consequences for ordinary Americans. When explaining his reactions to the Jimmy Kimmel feud, Trump blurted out, "George Stephanopoulos," seemingly without reason. Was this bizarre utterance just another example of the chaotic thoughts bouncing around in his head, akin to a pinball careening off of a crazy bumper? It's certainly adding to the mounting evidence of his utter incompetence and lack of coherence. Trump's responses resembled an over-caffeinated squirrel on a roller coaster. With nonsensical nicknames like Fake Tapper and MSDNC, he careened between accusations and self-pity, barely pausing for coherence. Kurtz's facial grimaces during the interview hinted at either a whiff of Donald Trump's body odor or perhaps just his journalistic spinelessness. Either way, the clip stunk. Trump's erratic tirade against CNN and NBC, coupled with his obsession over ratings, showcased a mind unhinged, bouncing between victimhood and vitriol like a pinball in a malfunctioning machine. Trump's absurd assertions were met with feeble pushback from Kurtz, revealing Fox's complicity in amplifying his delusions. This pathetic attempt at journalism resembled ranchers trying to herd cats over a mountain pass, with Fox and Kurtz failing miserably at maintaining any semblance of credibility. By giving the Tangerine tyrant a platform to spread his nonsense, Fox News further eroded trust in responsible reporting. Remember that these are the guys who lost $787 million for lying. They are the furthest thing from a fair and balanced program. From wild claims about rigged elections to bizarre tangents about imaginary enemies, Trump's antics were met with feeble resistance, not hot confrontational questions. One can't help but wonder why this conman is given a platform to sow chaos and division. It's as if Fox and Trump are in cahoots, conspiring to undermine truth in reporting and further erode trust in responsible journalism. Stop giving this clown center stage, please, before it's too late. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.